say that in the future, they can join us in the rec center that will be run.
You're ready to go.
Good morning, everyone. Here at the rec center in Highlands, it's 9 a.m. This is no longer lunch break with Lorna. It's morning yoga with Lorna. And for now on, I've been invited to teach here in Highlands once a month. Please look up the Borough Highlands website to see when that will be. This will be recorded virtually, as well as we have a big space here, and I'm told that there's room to be very spaced out for approximately 7 people. So you're welcome to come down here and have yoga with me live, which would be a lot of fun. I was hoping somebody would be here today and I wouldn't only be teaching to a camera. Those of you who have seen my previous classes will know that at the beginning I like to say something and about yoga. Not only do we learn to create postures and flexibility in yoga, but we learn something about yoga. Most people think yoga is just about the postures and the movements and being flexible, because so many people say to me, oh, I'm just not flexible enough to do yoga. I'm not flexible. It's not for me. And I sort of smile to myself because that really is such a minute part of what yoga is all about. And eventually, when you're not flexible, that's exactly what yoga helps those of us. The less flexible we are, the more, if we can become flexible in our minds, we can slowly become flexible in our bodies. And yoga there's 7 limbs of yoga, and the postures, the asanas, are only one of 7 parts of yoga. There's meditation, there's breathing, huge, and there's also guidelines of what to live by, codes to live by, ways to live your life. And that's hours and hours by itself. But I want to say one word. I love the sound of this word too. The word is ahimsa. Ahimsa. Ahimsa means no harm. No harm in action, no harm in speech, no harm in thoughts. So when I first learned this, what immediately came to mind is no harm. I'm not gonna go and punch my loved one or neighbor or anyone that I feel like. Sure, no harm, absolutely not. It's interesting, if we are speaking bad thoughts or saying bad thoughts about someone else, we're all guilty of that. It steals our own inner peace. So when we do that, we can recognize what's happening to ourselves. So some people are really good about leaving that aside, are more balanced and feel better within themselves. But we're going to push all of that aside and think about ahimsa, no harm in action, thought, and speech for ourselves. How many of us are not compliant with that? We're not always good to our bodies, and we're often speaking and thinking badly of ourselves. Most and many times untrue, just things that you have learned over the years to believe about yourself. And so here in yoga, we're turning all that around, and we're going to think positive thoughts. So if we're doing a posture and it's like, oh my goodness, I can't touch my toes. It's not I can't touch my toes. It's okay if I can't touch my toes. Here I am making my effort. I'm working my way to wherever feels comfortable for me today. And that is a positive, wonderful step that I'm doing for myself. Always good, positive thoughts. And we're going to start, speaking of good, positive thoughts, we're going to start laying on our backs. And I'm going to do it along with you. So, and another thing, and maybe I can give you a second to get, I have yoga blankets in my studio. And by the way, I do teach yoga both privately and very small classes in Highlands. If you ever wish to contact me, my email is lorna22@aol.com. I did forget to tell you that my name is Lorna Milbauer. Lorna22@aol.com. Take a bath towel and put it in, I guess, in a pile, just to make it comfortable, like a seat, like a pad. I'm going to put it aside, but it's good to have it if you need it. So, same for you. But I'm going to try to do postures today that don't require many of the props that we normally use in yoga. Okay, so here we go. We're going to lay on our backs. Some of you may want to keep your feet planted and your knees bent. So you can try that first as you gently bring yourself down on your backs. I'm going to sit and look and speak to you a little bit, but as you're down on your backs, your feet are planted and your knees are up. Yeah. And then slowly see how it feels to extend your legs. So another wonderful purpose of your towel is you can make a roll and put the roll under your knees, and that makes it more comfortable for your lower back. So you have options here. Your legs can be straight out, flopped out, open, comfortable. Feet can be planted, or the towel under your knees, allowing a little more comfort in your back. Allow your arms to flay out, and softly close your eyes and feel the floor supporting you. Just notice. Notice how your body does not have to do anything. The floor will come up to meet it, and gravity will hold you. Scan your body and notice what parts of your body seem to be making the most contact with the floor. And in those areas, see if those parts of the body can release, can relax, can soften a little more. Scan down the center of your body and notice if it seems to be leaning more, if you were to be pushed over, if it seems to be leaning more to one side or the other. And just notice. None of us are completely balanced, but in yoga, we do start to become more balanced. Wiggle your fingers and your toes and your hands and your feet, and then let it go again. I have this magic eraser I like to loan to my students, and in their mind's eye, they smooth out their forehead, their cheeks, their ears. Moving your jaw gently, we hold stuff there, letting it go. Tucking in that chin just slightly. Notice how that may relieve a little bit of stress on your neck. Softening through the shoulders. Listening to the sounds around you. Feeling the air as it makes contact with your skin. And notice without changing the rise and fall of your belly, of your breath. As it rises, that is your inhale, it's expanding. And as it comes down, that's your exhale. Just notice that filling out, that expanding, and that exhale. And on each exhale, see if your body can release and relax even more. What a chore it is for some to allow themselves to rest, to relax. But de-stressing your body is what brings health. It strengthens your immune system. Lots of good stuff. Okay, so if we don't have our feet bent and our knees up, let's bend our feet. I'm going to move my proper way here. Bend your feet, your knees are up. And this is going to be a slight pelvic tilt. So you're going to bring your back into the mat by bringing your pelvis toward you, squeezing into your belly button a little bit, squeeze it in. And then as you release, your belly comes up and your pelvis tilts away toward your thighs, arching your back. So there's more space between your back and your mat. And then, or your floor, whatever you're laying on. Then we come back, the pelvis tilts toward us, our belly button squeezes into the floor, everything is into the floor. And we release it away. As we release it away, we're expanding, we're inhaling. A few more on your own, nice and slow. Bringing your pelvis to you, squeezing your belly, squeezing it all into the floor. And releasing it away. Expanding your belly. Now 2 more on your own. And then if this feels okay for you, extend your legs long. Lift your arms up over your head, nice long body stretch. Extending, lengthening one side of your body a little more than the other, like you're wiggling one way than the other, just giving yourself a nice long stretch. Bringing your arms back down and one knee and then the other in, hugging it in. As much as that is, never forcing anything. Rocking side to side. And we're going to keep our right leg hugged in and allow the other leg to lengthen long, unless that doesn't feel right today for you, and then you can keep it planted. I'm going to extend mine long, and my knee is hugged in. Lift your head toward your knee, belly button into the floor, knee toward your forehead, squeezing it in. Some arm strength here, some core strength. Let your body come down, your head come down, and lengthen your leg up straight, tall toward the ceiling. And remember, it doesn't have to be completely straight. Never necessary to completely straighten your joints. A slight bend is great. And then start to coax that leg toward your body, toward your face. Any amount. Just notice you're being gentle with yourself. Leave that leg up and allow your arms to come down alongside you. And looking at your foot, can you flex it, bringing the heel toward the ceiling, and then point toward the ceiling. Heel. And as you're bringing the heel toward the ceiling, feel the engagement of the muscles behind your leg. And as you point, feel the engagements of the muscles in front of your leg. So the slower you go, the more easily you can feel the engagement of these muscles. Flexing and pointing. And as you do this, are your shoulders and chest soft? Is your face soft? Yeah. Circle the ankle one way, the other way. If you hear any creaks, that's good. Getting out that, Wiggle the toes, bend the toes away from you. And then see if you can bend the toes towards you. Some people call this Barbie feet. I apologize to men doing this, but you can sort of see what I mean. Yeah, those, like they're in high heels all the time. And then hug the leg back in towards you, the knee back in towards you. Allow your right arm to come alongside you. I know it's hard for you to lift your head to look at me, so just listening as your right arm comes out, your left hand is on alongside your knee of your bent leg. And guide that knee over the long leg toward your left, toward the left side of your body. Any amount that feels right today, keeping that right shoulder down as much as possible. If it's available, turning your head, looking toward that right arm. And breathe here. Notice this is a bit of a hip opener. You might feel some stretch, some maybe discomfort in that hip area. Discomfort's okay, never pain. Learning to notice the difference. Let's breathe up and down the right side of our body. Rolling back onto your back, bringing that knee back into your chest, hugging it in. Lift your head to the knee again. Knee to head, belly button into the floor. Lots going on here. Allow your head and body to come down. Let your foot come down, your right foot, and stretch that leg long next to your other leg. And notice difference from one side to the other. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the left side. Hug in that left knee. Lift your head to the knee to head, belly button into the floor. If we don't hug our belly button to the floor, we're putting some stress on our low back. We want to avoid that, right? Hug it in. Let your head and body come down. Lengthen that leg long up to the ceiling. Start to gently coax that leg in towards you. Notice what you're feeling when you do that. And we're starting to open up all these tight areas in our body. Keep that leg up and let your arms come down. Flex and point the foot. And you flex, you're bending your heel toward the ceiling. You're feeling some lengthening behind your leg. Flex, point. Circle your ankle one way. Circle the ankle the other way. Hug that knee back into your chest. Lift your head to knee to head. Let the head come down. And we're going to, if I remember, if it's, I forgot, we wiggle up, we bend our toes toward us, we bend our toes away from us. Circle our ankle. Okay. Here we go again. Bend the knee into our chest. And we're going to allow our left hand to come down to the side. And we're going to guide our left knee over to our right side, over that long leg. If your leg was bent, just let it fall together. That's fine too. Didn't say that on the other side. Always make any kind of adjustments that work for you. And that's what it's all about. Knowing what works for you at the moment. You'll notice a difference of one side to the other. Your head's turning toward the left. Feeling that delicious stretch. Some of you may not say delicious, but if you smile and soften and know that this is just wonderful what you're doing for your body, without forcing, wherever you are, it's a stretch. So if somebody's knee is touching the floor, they're getting the same value as someone whose knee is up in the air right now. Same value for your own body. Let's take a few breaths, maybe 3 up and down the left side of our body, trying to soften with each breath a little more. Coming back to center, hugging that knee in one last time, lifting head to knee to head. Let your head and body come down, foot come down. Stretch it nice and long. Let's wiggle your body. Lift your arms up and overhead. Big inhales, another big stretch. Stretching one side of the body longer than the other. Very nice. And then bringing both knees to your chest. And let's circle our knees around in one direction. So your fingers are on your knees pointing away from you. Circle the other way. Let's open our knees out and then push them away, around and in. Out, away, around and in. One more time, out, away, around and in. And then reverse it. So your knees are away from you, out and in and around. Out and in, around. Yeah. Okay, so now from here, you may be able to get momentum to roll up and down your spine all the way to a sitting position, which I'm going to do. And if that's not working for you today, you're going to roll to your side and push yourself up to a seated position. And from the seated position, we're coming onto our hands and knees. Our wrists are going to be under our shoulders. Our knees are going to be under our hips. And this is called a tabletop position. From this tabletop position, we're going to do cat and cow. Cow is when we let our belly just hang down, lifting up our chest and our head a little bit. Our tailbone will naturally flex up. Our shoulders, if we can, keep them away from our ears. Yeah. Our arms, our elbows can be a little bent. And we're just hanging there. Yeah. We wiggle our tail a little bit. If you're home and no one hears you, you can even bark. And your doggy's going to think you're crazy, or probably who's ever in your house will know you're crazy. Okay, here we go. Your belly button, you're going to lift your belly button in towards your spine, toward the ceiling. Head comes down, pelvis comes in towards your head. Nice big arch, cat pose. Pushing that floor away. Let your head relax down. Belly button is engaged into your spine toward the ceiling. So we get a lot of core work here. Then slowly we reverse back into cow, letting the belly come down, the tailbone lifts, the chest and heart and lift. Cow. On an exhale, we're lifting our belly button, arching our back into cat. Inhaling as we expand, let our belly hang. Cow. Let's try a few on your own, knowing that you're exhaling into cat. Inhaling into cow. And again, at your own pace, but the slower you go, the more engagement you actually notice and feel, the more control it takes. As we slow down, we get into that parasympathetic nervous system, the one that controls our hormones, your cortisol, and adrenal glands. It regulates it all to help you become more healthy and balanced. A couple more here. Back to tabletop. And let's circle our hips around. Keep your hands and knees where they are. And circle your hips around and up. 3 times each side. Back. As you come forward, you're inhaling. And you're exhaling as you go back. And then we're going to reverse the other way. Terrific. So again, we're on our hands and knees. You can readjust yourself. Stretch your right leg all the way back. Let your big toe touch. Move up a little bit. Let your big toe touch the mat. And then lift your heel up so that your big toe is facing down. Your leg is approximately hip level up. Yeah, stretching that heel back behind you, lifting the chest. And then from here, you're going to bend your knee and curl your knee toward your forehead, almost like you're creating a cat pose, squeezing it all in, and then lift everything up. Squeeze it all in, lift it all up. 3 more. You're exhaling as you squeeze in, you're inhaling as you expand up. I think it's 2 more. Sometimes when I'm talking, I'm not counting at the same time. Nice. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other leg. Left leg is going to stretch out straight. Big toe points down so that when we lift up our heel, we lift up our leg. We're lowering that hip to the hip level. And then it's the same thing. We're curling everything in, forehead to knee. Belly button squeezes in too. Yeah. And then lift and let it all come up. Exhale. And you see what a nice stretch you get along the whole inside of your body. Go on to number 4. And 5. And then from here, very popular yoga pose, Balasana, child's pose. Open your knees up, maybe as far as mats with a little less. We're all different sizes. We all have different things. And big toes come together. Sit back towards your heels and allow your head, your forehead to come to the floor. If it doesn't want to comfortably touch the floor, stack your fists, stack your hands, put a towel under your forehead, anything that helps your forehead rest comfortably. And take a few nice long breaths here. Notice where you still might be holding stuff. See if you can let it go. And this pose, this child's pose, is something in yoga class that anyone can come to at any time when they feel that what's happening is a little more for them than they're ready for today. So it's a great pose to come to, and it seems like it's a static pose where nothing is happening, but so much is happening all by yourself. Gravity is helping your spine to lengthen, your muscles to relax. And another thing I love in child's pose is that as you inhale, you can feel the expansion of your breath into your belly. And if I was there, I could gently touch the small of your back and feel your breath rising from your back as well. Okay, slowly picking this up. We're going to, again, lengthen out our right leg long, big toe down, lift it up, and lift up the opposite hand, the left arm up, thumb pointing up like you're going to shake someone's hand, ear inside your upper arm, keep it nice and long. See if you can lift both to be even. This is called bird dog pose, and it's difficult for some. It requires a lot of balance. So we're going to do a elbow to knee exercise here. And if this is not working for you today, you can repeat what we did before with both hands down, knee to forehead. If not, we're going to curl in elbow to knee, and head comes down to it, all comes in together, and lifting everything back up. That's 1. We'll do 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Holding it up. Okay, release your hand and your knee down. And as you guessed, we're going to do the other side, yes? Left leg stretches long, big toe down, lift it up. And your right arm lifts, thumb pointing up. And when we balance opposite sides of our body, it's uniting both sides of our brain too, our right and left hemisphere. And it's practice. And like we did on the other side, curling in, elbow to knee that comes down, all comes in, and reaching back out now. That's 1, 2. And again, if this doesn't work for you today, both hands down, knee to forehead, that's great too. Okay, the hand comes down, the knee comes down. Let's go take a short break into child's pose again, knees apart, big toes together, sit back and allow yourself to release for a couple of breaths in child's pose. And just notice how you're feeling. Take stock. Okay, this morning practice, hopefully we're going to get you energized for the whole rest of the day. You're going to feel so great. Here we go. We're going to hands and knees, but this time you're going to walk your hands were under your shoulders. Walk your hands forward, maybe a couple of inches. Your knees back about an inch. Tuck your toes under and lift your knees and hips off the floor, downward facing dog. It's like a upside down V. And when you get into downward facing dog, start to pedal your feet. So you're going to bend one knee as the opposite heel reaches down toward the mat, and then the other. Again, lengthening, stretching the back of your calves. And the slower you do it, the more you feel the muscles that are being engaged. Come to stillness. In this down dog, the weight in your hands mostly should come into the thumb pads and the first finger pad of your hand. That helps. And you think about your forearms squeezing in toward each other, the upper arms coming away from your ears, coming away. Think of your chest aiming toward your thighs. Think of your head nice and relaxed. Shake it yes and no. Slight bend in the knees. Lifting up your hips toward the ceiling. Lots going on here. It's a great pose for so many things. Coming forward, shoulders over wrists. Maybe you'll lengthen. I needed to lengthen my legs a little bit. Top of a push-up. So from this top of a push-up, shoulders are over wrists. Lift, engage the core a little bit. Reach those heels back. Head in line with spine. From here, lift your hips back into downward facing dog. This is usually a good guide to the length of your dog so that we can flow without moving your hands and feet. So again, lift up your heels, come shoulders over wrist for plank. Nice, and then lift up again, downward facing dog. So now we're going to do a flow. And remember, anytime you feel like getting into that child's pose, by all means, do that and come back and join us when you feel ready. So coming up, shoulders over wrists, plank. Let your knees come down right where they are. Come to the top of your feet. Keep your hands where they are and stretch back, sitting back towards your heels. Arms are long. Maybe come up onto your fingertips. Feel a nice stretch into your shoulders and back. This is called puppy pose. I said it in my, I just think this is so cute. I said this in my other tape, that if a down dog and a child's pose had a baby, it'd be puppy. Here we go, yeah? And then from here, allow your hands to just flatten, coming back up. So it's like a table, but your hands are not under your shoulders. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Let your knees come down, tops of your feet, press back, puppy. We're doing a vinyasa, a flow. Nice stretch here, guys. Inhale to table, tuck your toes, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Knees down, exhale, puppy. Every time you come forward, it's an inhale. Forward, table, exhale, down dog. Forward plank is an inhale. And exhale, puppy. Inhale, exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, puppy. Inhale, table. Exhale, down dog. Plank, and remember at any time, meet us in child's. So how about everybody do maybe 2 or 3 more if you're up for it. If not, we'll all meet in child's. I'll do a couple more with who's ever joining me here. Table, dog, plank, puppy. One more for those who are feeling a little more ambitious this morning. And again, here we are in child's. Maybe bring your arms alongside your body, let your head go. This is a nice release in your shoulders. Let's happen. And if your head's not readily touching the floor, put something under it. Take that towel of yours and let the head feel supported. When any part of our body doesn't feel quite supported, it's less inclined to want to release and soften and relax. You'll notice that difference. And isn't that so true in life? When we're not supported in some way, we are not relaxed. We're more stressed in our life. It's always great to be supported, physically and spiritually, yes. All right, so from here, we're going to get back into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up to the sky, bend that knee, open up that hip, lift that leg straight up, and we're going to, as we bring our shoulders over our wrists, we're bringing our knee to our nose, curling it in like a cat, and lifting it back up. Again, bringing our shoulders over wrists, curling it in, bringing it back up. One more time, in, and while it's in, stamp that foot between your hands. If it doesn't want to get there, use your other hand. Now look, let our hip come down. This is a low lunge. Lift your chest. Just a little bit of stretching before, yeah. So look at that back foot and turn that back foot to be parallel to the back of your mat. And then windmill your hands up and around into warrior 2. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. And if you guys can't see me, your right foot is forward. Your knee is over your ankle, your foot is forward, and your back leg is parallel to the back of the mat. Arms up. Look at the back arm, see if it's level with the front arm. Sometimes we're surprised. And see if you can sink down a little bit more. So the feeling here is bringing your torso together. You're lifting and engaging your pelvis. That there's a feeling of your thighs reaching in toward each other. Your shoulders are soft. Your arms are reaching away. Let's do a nice flow here. So as you straighten your front knee, your arms come up and together. Follow them if you can. That's a little bit of a balance thing. And exhale back down into warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale up. Exhale down. Enjoy the smile. I think this is just, feel like you're flowing, like you're flying. We're opening everything up. Back down. One more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Flip that front palm and reach your back arm down your back leg and reach that front palm up and back. Keep that front knee bent so it creates a resistance. This is peaceful warrior. Reaching back. Breathing, inhale. And then exhale, maybe those back fingers can creep down a little bit more, giving you a little more stretch, using that breath of yours. Inhale, exhale. Nice. And then back up to warrior 2. Front forearm on front thigh, back arm up over your ear, reaching sideways. Look at the time here, yeah. Reaching sideways. If this feels good to you, bringing that other arm up parallel. Back to warrior 2, straightening that front leg, hands on your hips, Parallel your feet wide, one next to each other, and hinge forward. Forward, fold, let it all go. Bend your knees any amount, shake your head yes and no, and let it go. Bend one knee and the other. So when you reverse, you're allowing fresh blood and oxygen to pour into your brain, also really good, changing that flow that we get. Letting it go. And then slowly walking up your legs. And we're gonna come back into downward facing dog because we gotta do everything on the other side. I'm gonna be facing this way again. See how that goes. Downward facing dog. Lifting your left leg up to the sky. And when one leg's lifted up, see if that opposite heel can start to sink down a little more. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Lift that leg, bend the knee to nose, shoulders come over wrists, and back up in the air. 2 more. And on this one, plant your feet, that foot between your hands. A little bit of a low lunge, keep it all here, lifting your chest. And then look at the foot in the back, your foot, parallel into the short end of the back of your mat. And cartwheel your hands up and around. Warrior 2, magic. If you're not facing me, make sure, turn around, your left leg is forward. Or maybe you don't need to face me, you can just listen and you'll be absolutely fine. And arms are up. Front knee is bent. A lot of details go into this that hard to get into just on camera now. If you regularly come to class, you learn lots of the ins and outs of proper alignment to keep getting those muscles into proper. But by having them in proper alignment, it prevents injuries in the long run, in all walks of life. So here we are, Warrior 2. You're sinking down into the torso. Your core is engaged. Your thighs are reaching toward each other. You're actually feeling equal weight onto both feet. So we tend to lean forward so you can get equal weight. Arms out, shoulders soft. Lots going on. This is a warrior pose. There's a reason why it's called a warrior pose. When we become warriors and we can stay calm in when things are not always easy, that's key. We can learn that in yoga sometimes. And again, we're going to do that flow where we straighten our front knee and reach our arms up overhead on inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale up. And if you can, following your fingers and your front hand. Following them as they go up. Nice stretch up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. 1 more for good luck. And down. Flip that front palm. Reverse warrior, or peaceful warrior it's called. Reaching back, keep bending into that front knee. Inhale, exhale, allow the fingertips to come down your leg. Inhale, exhale. Yeah. So on that exhale, those fingertips maybe creep down a little more, giving you a little more stretch. Think about lengthening that arm that's over your head a little bit. Notice the stretch you're feeling. Coming back up to warrior 2. Side angle, your front forearm comes on your front thigh, your other arm comes up overhead. Turning up from the bottom waist, reaching long. And if this feels okay, bring in the other one up too. Coming back up to warrior 2. Hands on waist, parallel your feet. Just one more time, let's hinge forward. Let it go. Shaking your head yes and no. start to walk up your feet, up your legs, and let's turn to the front of our mat. Inhale your arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Let your knees come down and slowly lower yourself, belly all the way to the mat. Forehead's touching the mat. Arms alongside your body. And from here, we're doing a pose called Shalabhasana, locust pose. And you lift your head and your shoulders, and you lift your hands and arms. You lift your head and shoulders, a little more hands and arms, and then lifting up your feet, your calves, maybe your thighs, lifting little by little, as much as you can, your head, your shoulders, your arms, your thighs, your calves. Keep lifting, inhaling each time, lifting more, keep it going, you can do it, lifting more. And very slowly with control, let it all come down, turn one cheek to the mat, and let it go. And notice all that prana, all that life force energy flowing through you. And turn your head the other way so that we even out the stretch, little bit of stretch you might be getting in your neck. And from here, gently bring yourself around onto your backs. Feet are bent. Feet are planted, knees are up in the air. Yeah, settle yourself in. Bring one knee towards your chest and the other one, hugging it in, rocking side to side, working out anything that you might be feeling in your lower back, circling your knees one way, yeah, and the other way. Do just we have time for maybe one more hip opener. Let's plant our feet and bring your right ankle on top of your left knee. Flex that foot. You're almost making what would look like a figure number 4. And this may be plenty hip opener for you right now. If you want to extend it a little more, the foot that's on the ground, your left foot, bring it up towards you with your ankle on your knee up. And your right hand comes through that triangle that you've created, meeting the other hand behind your thigh or on top of your calf, and gently pushing your right thigh away with your elbow as you're bringing in the bent knee. And softening in your face and your shoulders, just noticing the stretch, the opening you're creating in your hip area. And slowly bringing that foot down. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side, left ankle on top of right knee. And this may be plenty if you want to continue what you did on the other side, lifting up your right foot, threading your left hand through that hole around your calf or around your thigh. Feet are flexed. Pushing one thigh away as you're pulling your right thigh towards you. Just notice if that forces you to want to tense up in your neck or your face, right? So smiling often alleviates that. And interesting to notice how one side might be very different than the other. We notice so much as we pay attention, as we do in yoga. And one day can be so different from another. We always accept it just where it is. It's all good. It's all fine. Nice. Right. And then we're hugging in those knees again. Lifting up our head to our knees and our knees to our head, squeezing it all together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze everything. Maybe tightening your face, tightening, using your arm strength, squeezing your belly. And so slowly and mindfully, letting your head and torso come down, allowing your feet to come down and stretch out one leg and then the other. Lifting up your shoulders and allowing your collarbones to lengthen out wide. Yeah. And letting your arms stretch out beside you, palms facing up. So your heels, allow yourself to take up some space. Your heels can be as wide as the mat, your feet flopped out, and your chest open and your palms facing up, allowing yourself to receive, to feel permeating through your own body all the prana, the life force energy that you have created for yourself. Feeling it percolating everywhere. If you haven't already, closing your eyes. This is called Shavasana. Shavasana is the most important part of our practice. It's a chance for your body to assimilate all the work that it's done. There's such thing as muscle memory. That muscle memory starts to kick in. At the same time as our muscles do learn how to soften, how to relax. Sometimes our muscles over time with stress have contracted to such a degree that they forget how to do that. We're relearning how to do that. And as we do that, all the good life force energy comes in to nourish our body. So again, with my magic eraser, softening the lines in your forehead, around the sides of your eyes. Again, checking in with that jaw. Some of us hold that stuff there. Just checking it in, slightly tucking in the chin. That feels right. You figure it out for yourself. Tongue resting on the bottom of your mouth. Softening through the shoulders, the chest. Just notice this energy in the upper arms, in your elbows, forearms. Palms of your hands faced up to receive, allowing yourself to accept everything just as it is. As we did in the beginning, noticing the gentle rise and fall of your breath. And that tingling energy in your thighs. Knees. Your calves. Your ankles. Your feet. Your toes. I forgot to say your fingers. We can travel back to our fingers for a minute. Can't forget them either, right? It's we all work together. We'll have to learn to play nicely. It's so interesting to me how when something might go awry in one part of the body, how a completely different part of the body can be affected by that. And sometimes in yoga, we discover why and how. Let's just bring that breath of skin and back up our body. And inhale, and on that exhale, just brought in all that good nourishment, spread it out again all over your body. Perhaps there's a certain part of the body that needs extra attention. This time you inhale, And when you exhale, focus that exhale, that breath, where you might need a little extra attention. Maybe one more time. One more inhale, and send that beautiful breath, that beautiful intention to your heart center if you haven't already. Starting to deepen your breath. Bringing life back into those fingers and toes. Curl yourself in, sort of like a fetal position. Roll onto one side of your body that calls to you right now. Take a moment to settle there. Noticing how you're feeling. Thanking yourself for giving yourself this time. Showing up. It's always that showing up sometimes is the hardest. Keeping your eyes closed, use that top arm to help you push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. We haven't really sat much today. Just notice how that feels. Comfortable cross-legged, doesn't have to be cross-legged. Noticing the ground beneath you, nice long spine, but soft shoulders, soft face, soft breath. There's something I wanted to read to you that goes along with this idea of ahimsa, being kind to ourselves, understanding that yoga is not necessarily about being flexible. The yoga pose is not the goal. Becoming flexible is not the goal. Standing on your hands is not the goal. The goal is to create space where you were once stuck, to unveil the layers of protection you've built around your heart, to appreciate your body and become aware of the mind and noise it creates, to make peace with who you are. The goal is to love, well, you. Come to your yoga mat to feel, not to accomplish. Shift your focus and your heart will grow. Let's bring our hands together in front of heart center. I thank you all for joining me today. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me, and I'd be happy to help you continue on this journey. Again, I'll be coming here once a month for I don't know how long, but if you need me for any reason, I'm available and in Highlands, and I look forward to meeting some of you as well. So as we lift our heart center and bow our head, I say to you, Namaste. The light in me honors and bows to that same light, beauty, and wisdom in each one of you. Have a great day, and notice the energy that you will be bringing into this day, this positive energy. Bye-bye. I didn't know I didn't press it. Okay. Because I didn't know I just drop it down.
whatever.